Alright, I'm going to try to hold this camera without getting my fingers in the way. I guess call this one pull rope, you know, the rewind starter. And this is on a 6 horsepower Johnson. It's pretty dirty. Really needs to be hosed off and clean. I might do that for the buddy. Anyway, 6 horsepower Johnson. Runs pretty good. I think it needs to do fuel pump, and there's nothing wrong with the fuel pump. Just doesn't look good. It needs to be cleaned out. But there's some good videos on this guy, but there's a couple of things that nobody talks about. And so one thing is, you know, you got 4 bolts to take it off. You got this tension spring that you can take off. You got to make sure this is, you know, it's down over this. It's a little plastic. What would you call that? Little leg or whatever. And then you got the pinion gear. Well, in this case, this one's pretty. I mean, it's pretty chewed up. Whoa, yeah. That's kind of pretty chewed up. And it's held on by this roll pin. So if you need to change your pinion gear, you got to get the roll pin out. So the only way I know is with a roll pin punch and punch it through. The problem for me is that this is plastic, and if I damage this, well then I kind of own it. Unless I tell the customer, look, if I damage it, so I'm not responsible. But anyway, I replaced the pull rope. You could get the pull rope from Lowe's, probably Home Depot as well. And I updated the pull rope. And that's it. It's a universal pull rope, 4mm. So some of the videos, they don't tell you that. So you need 4mm rope. And then a couple of ones I watched, they didn't tell you that when you take this apart and you take the 4 bolts off the bottom, take the spring out, because the spring goes up underneath this little aluminum piece, which is that. There's a bushing, and you got to make sure that bushing is good. If it's not, replace it, because that'll make it kind of wonky. There's no bushing up here, and we got a little play, which I don't know why they did that. I think some models had a bushing. But regardless, if you got a bad pinion gear, you gotta knock the pinion out, knock the roll pin out to get the pinion gear off to replace it. So this one still kind of funky, but there is, like, once you pull it a few times, you get to know that there's a place for it. So I'm probably still getting my fingers in the way, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. Well, this little 6 horsepower Johnson's pretty cool. It's what did we say it was? 73, 76, I don't know. I have to look it up again. Shifter over there, reverse, neutral, forward. So neutral, and this is sticking a little bit. The whole thing needs to be kind of hosed down with some WD-40 and cleaned. I think I'm going to do that for the guy. But I guess, I don't know, you know, how I wanted to make this video or whatever, but you know, like I never done one of these pull ropes, because the ones that I always had, they were working. But this one had some issues. It had a pull rope on it and it worked, but it wasn't wound all the way to the bottom. And I don't know, this little piece right here, when I first got it, was over on this side, so I took this all out and got that there. And this is your pinion gear. I watched some videos because, you know, I'd never done one. I knew it was simple, but anyway. It's just basically 4 bolts. These 2 on top, and then that loosens all this up. And then there's 2 bolts down at the bottom. And there's an aluminum piece. And so this all comes out, but then you have the spring. So the spring goes up in the aluminum piece. And there's a bushing at the bottom. So a lot of the videos, you know, they don't talk about that. You need to look at that bushing, make sure it's still good. And the other thing is you have to have a really big screwdriver to turn this. One guy, he kind of made a bolt thing where he took his cutter, and that was a cool idea, you know. So he got it where he could turn it, because you take it off, you know, and then you got the rope is still off, and you wind it up. Another guy had a pair of just like some die cutters, and he just slid the handles under here and it held this up. But one of the things that was wrong with this one is the pinion gear, which probably is a lot of them, honestly, because it's plastic going on our flywheel. And you know, like this one's got a crack in the top. Doesn't seem to affect it, but it's eventually gonna break. So what do? This pinion gear, the way this is, this thing would all slide apart. You could take it completely apart, but it has a roll pin here, and the only way I know to get that roll pin out is like with a roll pin punch. And yeah, you punch that out, this comes off, and then you replace the pinion gear. Problem for me is this is plastic, so if I damage this, then I bought it. You know, unless we come to an agreement that, hey, if I damage it, you'll just have to get another. Or do you just replace the whole thing if you can find one? Anyway, some options. But I got this going. Had the wrong plugs in it. It had some NGK BUHW2s. This one's Champion L78Vs. So as Cody says, need some good candles. But it works and runs pretty good. I just had it started. I don't know how it'll do. Let's see if it's still, yeah, it's all primed up and ready to go. See if it'll just start. See what I mean? It's pretty, it's almost like you got it. Give it a little gas, I guess. And it sticks. Yeah, see. This one's definitely in need of a repair. Should kick off. Looks like I got too much gas or something. So that's what I couldn't figure out why they didn't have a bush in here. I guess this is supposed to do something, but it's just tearing it up. I don't know that I really like. They have this for a sailboat. So see that line, like anyway, the rope, if you pull it wrong and it wants to go out of there. Yeah, it's just like some places they don't. It's just getting worse. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know. You know. It's too bad now. Yeah, it's just. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it seems like this is moving. This should be tighter in like that. And then a good pinion gear. See, because it's moving over to the right. You know, either that or just the gears are too far off. See, because if it was right there, it catches pretty decent. But as soon as you do that, it pushes out. So, let's say, you know, I don't know. If you had a bushing, you could put it in there. You know, you still got to knock the roll pin out, replace this. But it seems like this would keep happening because it's loose. You know, unless this was supposed to have, yeah, see, it's just, that's all it is. It's like this carrier, you know, that holds all the rewind rope under here is where this piece, they meet, so there's no bushing there. And if you notice, it's got lots of slack. Or this is worn down. You know, that may be the thing too, is you got to replace this, and then it'll tighten up because that's worn in there. It's worked its way back and forth until it just. And I don't know. Hopefully you all can see that. Try to hold this here, but you know, it's got a lot of movement back and forth, and then, you know, it's not going to engage with the flywheel. See, like if it rolls up and right, you know, if you can keep it on the end, then, you know, it would still turn the flywheel, but see how it pulls off to the side and it just sticks. The only way to really do this is turn the flywheel to disengage it. You know, it's almost like a lot, like a good about an eighth of an inch, you know, that it's, anyway. So we're not sure what to do on this guy. So, you know, I did get a universal. You can get one of these ropes. They're 4mm, and you can get that at Lowe's or Home Depot. And that's a pretty easy fix. They're like 88 inches long, so that's, I mean, I think it's better than, because it's got more of a grip. The other one is real small. And that goes up and down good, but it's too bad. See, if I could get the roll pin out, then I could measure this and get probably a bushing that I could put in there. Blue would be tight too. It's probably a 1 inch, maybe like a 1 inch bushing. But then the height of it, you know, it's a little more than a 1/4 inch tall. So 1 inch by that. I don't know.